Welcome to RetroBytes episode 7. My name is Brian, and this is the show where Sam, Alan, and I will talk about video games and life in general. On today's show, we look at the news. Is exclusivity still working? Who has the better opinion? We break out the wheel discussion, and what is in store for 2025. And before we get into the discussion, I just want to bring up our social media, which you can find at linktree/Retrotopia. That's linktr.ee/Retrotopia. And if you want to support the show and get to listen to the extra topic at the end, you can do so at www.patreon.com/Retrotopia, where you can join for free. And there you can listen to RetroBytes 15 days early, get the extra topic, listen to our secondary show called Quick Play, comment on games, and to the host of every episode. And just join in on polls and the discussion in general in our Discord. Now on to the show. Alright, welcome to episode 7 of RetroBytes, our monthly podcast where the three of us just get together and we just kind of chit-chat about several topics and basically whatever we really want to talk about. As always, we started about a little catch-up for the last month. So, fellas, how are you doing?
Good.
Doing great.
Very good. Yeah.
All right, that's the episode.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening.
2025 coming in hot.
Yeah,
really.
big time.
Especially in LA there. Jesus.
No, that's not what I meant.
I know that's not what you meant. I'm just saying that the fires are... It's like that year Australia was on fire in the beginning of the year.
Or the
Yeah,
years
that-
that Canada was on fire for most
we
of
do
the
ours
year.
in the summer, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Never ends well when the year starts off like that, does it?
Yeah.
No.
No, it's your turn, Britain.
Yeah, oh God, don't. Britain's too wet to burn down. Although, Great Fire of London and what have you, so...
Yeah, Britain's only wet because you live there.
Oh,
Wink.
You're too kind.
Bit damp.
So, what's everyone... A bit damp in it. So, what are we, like halfway through January? It's just like, what... Does anyone do anything, like, in January?
No. This is the part where you're in your seasonal depression and you're just, back to the work thing. You just had a break, so you realize what life is outside of, the constant stress of work and schooling and stuff like that. So
Yep.
this is the month you realize that you're dead inside.
Yeah, that
Well-
stretch between Christmas and like maybe the first day of spring, which is March 20th, just fucking sucks.
It's like a fucking grim slog through an endless winter.
It's the worst.
Yeah, pretty much.
And welcome to RetroBytes, everyone, the happiest place on earth.
Yes. Take that, Disney. Don't sue us, please.
Disneyland and
No, I
ear
mean-
holes.
I did have that concert I went to just the other day.
Yeah.
So
That's true. You
there
did.
we are.
You did post pictures of fun. That is good.
I did
Tell us
do
about it. Tell us about your concert.
I did do a thing in January, so there you go. Yeah, I went to, I saw the UK Pink Floyd Experience, literally in the theatre not 5 minutes away from my house, and it was phenomenal. Honestly, these guys, I will never get to see Pink Floyd live. The ship has sailed on that,
Right.
and honestly, I feel like these guys are the next best thing. Close your eyes and you could almost be at a Pink Floyd gig. They're note perfect. They had a great fucking set list. Mainly centered around celebrating however long it's been since Wish You Were Here. And I don't care what anyone says. Wish You Were Here, probably my favourite Pink Floyd album. Not the best Pink Floyd album, before you come at me, but nostalgia and sentimentally, it's probably my favourite album. So they played a lot off of that, and I was very, very happy.
Excellent.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, that reminds me of a story when I was younger. Me and a buddy, we went to a record store, and the buddy is the guy who does thing over on our Discord there.
Oh, yeah.
And he was buying a couple of CDs back when those were the things, and MP3s hadn't taken off yet. And I was kind of just bored, and I was flipping through the CD shelves behind him. And I just turned and I said, "Who the hell is Pink Flood?" And you could hear a record scratch. Everybody stopped and stared at me. I was like, oh, my God.
Oh,
It's like, I was just kidding.
oh. Pink Flood.
Yeah.
That is an unfortunate name for a band.
Yeah,
Or
I
or
never
really,
thought of it that way.
or a very fortunate one if that's what you're making happen. You know?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Pink
true.
Flood.
It's a real hit with the
Oh,
Oh
ladies.
man,
Yeah.
it was good times. Those are better times when I did stuff outside of the house. Sam, what have you been up to?
Not much. Just starting the year. I feel real motivated for this year, just all around. But recently,
We'll put an end to that.
yeah, you can you can smash that to pieces if you want to. But I had an Instagram post take off unexpectedly, which was really weird. Yeah, my Last of Us reel has, as of recording right now, has 71,000 likes.
God damn.
And
This thing just will not die.
And I don't understand why, because I acknowledge that it's old news, right? And like some people in the comments are just bastards, but it's like, dude, it wasn't meant for you. Move on.
Yeah, no, the only thing people love more than liking a post on the internet is hating a post on the internet, but there's no hate button anymore.
Yeah, it's been watched. The watch time on this fucker is 192 days, almost 193 days of watch time for a 30-second video.
How many watches did you say you had on that?
Oh, views? Okay, that was likes.
Yeah,
views is 1.1 million.
1.1 million.
I don't understand why.
Sam, you've blown up. You've blown up.
So
but it's funny because
we got Sam the influencer here now.
but it's funny because it doesn't really translate to that many followers. I mean, I think my follower count has now eclipsed my following number, so I'm at about 300 followers, which is pretty nice. But still, It's like, why is everyone so obsessed with this video? It's nothing. And everyone's like, oh, that's been confirmed by the devs. Read a post online. It's like, number one, I did. Number two, it's not for you.
just respond to them. Maybe you should go touch grass or something, because I mean, sometimes people don't jump on every friggin' discovery.
Well, exactly.
It's nice to see somebody learn something, right?
Well, there was one.
Those people.
There was one comment that came up that, like, I don't let this stuff get to me, but like this one just kind of did. It was just kind of an asshole about it, and I was like, look, he's like, why don't you look it up first? I was like, well, I did, and also that's not fun. And then he said, well, neither is what you did. And I said, well, then just don't comment and move on. And like the people are absolutely lighting this guy up to the point where I'm like, his mentions are probably going crazy too. It's just like, what is happening right now? It's just such a weird.
They are.
Such a weird place, the internet.
You created your own little Instagram zeitgeist, complete with both heroes and villains. Like,
apparently, well,
Yeah.
I think what I want to do is record a reel that will probably get far less views and likes, and just kind of do a little follow up to say, hey, if you liked this reel that I posted for whatever reason and are watching it over and over again, why don't you listen to Retrotopia?
yeah.
There you go.
And then you can
if
yell at
haven't
us for not
seen
reading things.
Yeah, and if you out there haven't seen the reel, you can find it at Storm Beagle at Instagram there. That's Storm with a 0 because some asshole took the O from him.
Yep, someone
arsehole who hasn't got 1.1 million fucking views.
Yeah, that's right.
On a post that's already been proven like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, my God.
Well, there's two ways to look at this. Because, okay, here's what the reel was about. It's that I found The Office, quote unquote, capital T, capital O, The Office, from the U.S. sitcom The Office. It's an Easter egg in The Last of Us, okay? But it's in the remaster only, I believe. The remaster and the remake onward. It was not included in the original game, which I believe came out in 2013, correct? Now, don't come at me if I'm wrong on I think it's about 10 years old, so don't come at me. But people are, some of the people that are like scoffing at this reel that I made were like, dude, this came out in 2013. Actually, the Easter egg did not. So back off.
Yeah,
that's my response to that. Like, if you want to, actually, it did not come out in 2013. Not this Easter egg.
Yeah.
So
Fucking
people are
It's
still
funny 'cause I
discovering
feel
it.
bad because you posted that in the Discord there, and I immediately I already knew this, so I posted the confirmation. Now I feel bad.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Am I?
No, it's fine because it's like there's a bunch more, and I actually didn't look at that thing that you posted because I wanted to be surprised by other stuff. We were playing it last night, and we found we're in the sewers where there was like that kind of, I guess, colony or whatever, that group of survivors that were took to the sewers.
Spoilers.
Sorry, whatever. It's a 10-year-old game. Read a book.
12 years old. Do math.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. But we found what looks a lot like an American Girl doll, and apparently there is also at some point in the game like a replica American Girl doll store. So that's kind of a cool. So I'm kind of on the lookout for that and anything else I can find. But it was really weird when I found it because I got the sense, like I walked in there and I got the sense like I've been here before.
Ooh.
They disguised it pretty well because like only a couple like the desk and a couple of the walls really truly resemble it. But I mean, it's pretty obvious, and people are like, no, all offices look like that, bro.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame that you couldn't turn the character to the camera there.
I know.
And just be like, make him make a look like, oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never
like
actually watched The Office.
the gym
but
face.
I've just seen the clips.
The gym face. I think my favorite comment of all the ones that I saw was, and I guess we can move on after this. So we don't continue to just beat this Instagram reel thing to death. But this guy, or gal, I don't know, they said, what will we do if you die, Dwight? And he said, if I'm dead, you've been dead for weeks. And I thought that was perfect. So it's like, well, that's what happened. But that's an actual quote from the show, and I think that was pretty damn funny. Also, Save Bandit was a good one too. When the office started on fire and Angela threw her cat into the ceiling.
God, I need to watch this fucking show.
Yeah,
I should probably.
Yeah.
Everybody says season 1, you have to kind of force your way through it. So I haven't made it past episode 2 yet.
Season 1 is very dry. Yeah,
I never really got on with the British Office, so maybe this would be the one I enjoy.
And British Office is even drier, so it's good,
exactly.
but it's real dry.
Yeah, Brian,
Oh.
how's your schooling?
Good. All right, next topic. Sam took all my time.
I know. We're good.
Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, started school this week. I'm exhausted already. All my classes are in like the late afternoon, evening, so you'll notice a big absence of me in the podcast over the next few months unless something particularly works out that gives me more free time. Fingers crossed. Couple of interesting classes, like we're doing interface design, which is basically how a screen looks and how information is presented to the player, and we're using real life games as examples, and Wind Waker was one that was brought up as like almost the golden standard example of good interface design.
Really?
And it was just it's just because it's so clean, but all the information you need is presented in such a way that you don't really need to focus on anything to you know what you're supposed to do, and just well designed. Other one is drawing, which is something I haven't done since I was younger, so it's nice to get back into drawing. And then finally it's a video game psychology course, and I was going to try to exempt it because I did social psychology in university, and I decided I'm not going to after one class. The instructor is very well spoken, engages the class really well. The material is directly related to how video games and how you create characters with proper like emotional balance and things like that, and how you really connect with the player. And I'm finding it really interesting already.
That does sound really interesting.
Yeah, one class in and I'm hooked. And it's on a Friday afternoon, and it's like I don't even care. I'm a zombie at that point, but I'm just like, I am so intensely focused on learning stuff in this class.
That's cool.
That's awesome. That is
so
awesome.
Yeah, that is basically what all I've been doing over the last like month, because other than that it's been vacation. And I got to that point where when you're like in such a comfortable spot. You don't feel like doing anything, so you just kind of float around the house there, always trying to think of something to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty much me for the last week of December.
I think that's
Oh, yeah.
pretty much everyone though. It's just that general sort of what do we do now malaise that happens after Christmas, and it's just like
Yeah,
you just.
yeah.
What's good is that there's kind of nothing really expected of you for the most part, so it's just like, yeah, fuck it, just chill out, get your, take some time, relax, and then get your head back in the game, which is what
Yeah.
you've done.
That's what I did.
Yeah, pretty much. The only problem with like, I'm not used to having 4 straight weeks off, so after the month of free time, my body regresses into that caveman mode where all I care about is sleeping until the sun comes up and ugga-bugging around the area with no no direction, just kind of living life.
I
And
just
it
see,
can get bad. Like you can get into this funk where you forget to shower during the day. Like
I just
like
see
for 2
Brian
days.
just roaming around in a loincloth, just in the garden around his house.
Man, I feel like I do that if I take a nap that's too long.
Oh god.
Well, I have a house coat that I had to wash because it started really starting to get funky and it lost its fluffiness. So I have to get another house coat that's really fluffy.
Oh, R.I.P.
but you
Brian's housecoat.
Then you can
So
defluff
you-
that one too. Sounds awful.
Exactly.
Sounds filthy.
All crusty. Yeah, all crusty and stuff. All right, what have you guys been playing the last month?
You want to go
Christ.
first, Alan? Are you still
Sure.
hung up on? Are you still hung up on Krusty and?
Oh,
Fluffy.
don't worry. No, I'm good. That's gone straight in the bank. I will use that later. So what have I done? Obviously, I got Astrobot for Christmas. I beat that. We're still playing through Borderlands 2, working our way through our playthrough. I forgot how much longer that game is than the first one. Like, it feels like it goes on forever, but yeah, really enjoying it. Last night I completed Squirrel with a Gun, which
Oh, yeah, you completed it?
I completed.
Awesome.
There's like maybe 2 or 3 achievements that I may go for, or trophies, whatever. But for the most part, like the actual game is beat. Can't really think of anything else. I don't know what else.
Well,
I've
it's
been
the
playing.
start of the year.
Yeah.
What was your final count on finished games for 2024? 60.
63, I think it was. And I spent today. I actually wrote out my list for the upcoming episode, where I am going to rank every single one of those games. And what I did is I put them all in an order and then closed the sheet and ignored it for the rest of the day. And I'm going to have another look at it tomorrow and see if I still feel the same way.
Perfect. That's the best way to do it.
Mm.
And that's coming out the Friday for Patreon members, and it's coming out Sunday 2 weeks ago for everyone else. Yeah, just because the way RetroBytes goes, it's released twice. Sam, what have you been playing?
I always try to pick 3 things that I've been working on and discuss here. So first is Kingdom Hearts, which is an upcoming episode for us. I've never played it before. You two have, so I have a copy on the PS2, so I'm playing it on original hardware, and it's okay so far. I'm not like ready to say it's awesome yet, so I still need some time with it. I think it got off to a slow start for me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting more into that as I wrap a few things up here. Also playing an indie RPG called Beloved Rapture, which I think I've mentioned on another episode. That one's been actually picking up really well. Kind of got off again. That one got off to a slow start too, and I had some difficulty with it. But otherwise, it's a pretty cool game, retro-inspired indie RPG. That's pretty fun and tough. I would say it's pretty tough. And then the last one, gosh, there was another one. And now I can't remember it. So, The Last of Us. Duh, we were just talking about it on the reel. We started in on that, and I've been enjoying it. I just came off of finishing Silent Hill 2 remake, and that is a very different. I don't know if you would call Last of Us like a true survival horror or not. I'm not really big into that genre, but Silent Hill 2 remake and Last of Us are very, very different games as far as like what you, I guess, how you progress through the space and the puzzle solving. And Silent Hill 2 is ratcheted way up, and I think it's interesting that in Last of Us that you're fighting. There's a lot more human fighting than I thought I would be doing, and I think I find the human battles a lot more challenging than just infected running at you. So I'm enjoying it, and I really like the story. And usually, like, I'm not a big story guy, but I could sit and play it for hours. Like I would not stop if I didn't have to.
I like the way that you've decided to chase something like Silent Hill 2 with something sort of nice and casual and light-hearted like The Last of Us.
Yeah, like we found a makeshift daycare center in one spot, and there was like a blanket with like dead children under it. It was just like, oh my god, this is heavy. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, it's a very good game.
Yeah, we'll probably end up doing an episode of that pretty soon. I played it recently. I played it because somebody made me a deal. They'd play the game I gave them, and I'd play the game they gave me, which was The Last of Us. And I'm going to say, I don't hate it. I don't see how everybody's calling it like the greatest game ever made.
Yeah, I don't know about
There's
that.
better
I think
games out there.
I think from a game perspective, it's more like, it's just like a, gosh, you know how you talk about like movies versus like film? You know, like if it's highbrow, it's film or it's cinema. Like, I think that's this, but for video games. Like, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I think you always have to recognize the high art, or like the art form. Like, this is peak, you know, video game as an art form type. It's sweeping and it's cinematic and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's what Naughty Dog does best.
Yeah.
I prefer Uncharted. There, I said it.
Uncharted 2 is probably their best game, in my opinion.
No, it's a masterpiece.
No, Crash Bandicoot is the best.
Oh, well.
I actually don't like Crash that much.
It's a what's the word I'm looking for? Particular flavor of game.
Yeah.
You either like it or you don't. All right. I guess I'll go next. So I've been up to Radiata Stories. I'm doing that for a quick play, and I got stuck on it because in the game you find friends, quote unquote, around the town of Radiata, and these friends become party members, and you have to level them up. And sometimes it'd be level like 15 or 16, and you get your friend, and they're level 2, so you have to level them up.
Ugh.
But at the same time, you have to do missions, and the game's kind of neat because as the story progresses, it progresses based on days. So they have a day-night system, and you can kind of sleep through it, but you can go 3 days without anything happening. So you end up doing all these side quests and stuff like that, and you come back, and it'll trigger a cutscene, but the cutscene won't actually like be forward progression of the story. It's just kind of something going on at that time of the day. And I finally got to a point, and the story branches off in two directions. You can either pick the non-human side or the human side, and it gives you two different paths to play. So that's where I've just made it. I got stuck on a boss again, but I think it was just because of my own stupid, fighting that made me lose to that one. So I'm going to take another crack at it tonight. Other than that, I often go on Game Pass and I look for indie games because there's been a couple there that have just been sit down and play. And I found one called Donut County. And all you do is you make a hole and things fall into the hole, making the hole bigger. And it's absolutely no point to the game, but it has a story to it and all that stuff. And it was just kind of sit on the couch, melt into it, no effort, no thinking. Loved it. Awesome. Finished that one because it wasn't that hard. I got Dragon Quest III for Christmas, so I started that, but quickly abandoned it because I can't do two role-playing games at the same time, especially 3, because I'm also playing Kingdom Hearts. I can do that one because I've played it before, so it's more of a refresh than anything. And I dropped Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom because I didn't get on with it. Honestly, I didn't find it fun. But it's charming. I like it.
I-
It's not fun for me.
I know exactly where you're coming from. I did finish it, but yeah, I hear what you're saying, which is a shame because I love Zelda, but it wasn't quite it.
Yeah, it had a lot of good to it. I
Mm-hmm.
just kind of got annoyed constantly going through the quick menu to find something to echo into existence so that you could climb up to the next part, and then you have to go back and echo a bad guy that you found so that you can fight the other bad guys, and yeah, it just tedious to me.
Yeah.
But again, I love the graphics. I love that style of Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Just didn't click with me. That's it. That is my only complaint about the game.
Not your cup of tea.
No. All right. Do you guys want to get into the news?
Let's do it.
Yep, let's get
All
into
right.
it.
Sam hasn't heard this yet, but I've shown Alan, so here we go. Yeah, we got music now.
What the hell
Yeah.
was that?
That was the news music.
I missed
could
the
only kind of
do.
yeah, I could only kind of hear it. It was like kind of had a
Yeah, I
little
know, it's pretty-
funky bass.
Yeah, pretty low to you guys. I don't know how to turn it up.
That's
but,
okay.
You know what? All right, so let's go story number one. So these, of course, are within the last month. So some of these stories might have been, stated on other podcasts or news sources, or it might be old news, but it's not to us. Number one, the Switch has passed the PS2 in sales in the United States. This one is pretty much mid-December. So according to industry analysis, Matt, long name that begins with a P, the Nintendo Switch has surpassed the PlayStation 2 in lifetime sales within the United States. The achievement adds the Switch's earlier milestone of outselling the PS2 in Japan, making its dominance in two major gaming markets. Despite the regional success, the Switch remains behind the Nintendo DS, the top-selling console in the U.S. history, and trails the PS2 global sales of over 160 million units. As of September 30th, 2024, Nintendo reported worldwide Switch sales of 146.04 million units, with the anticipated announcement of the Switch successor, often referred to as the Switch 2, expected by March 2025. Industry observers are keen to see if the current Switch can maintain its sales momentum to potentially become the best-selling console globally. As of today, it has also been rumored that the Switch 2 might be announced this week. Again, that's a rumor, nothing confirmed, and it would be 13th of January today. If it is, the news is not lying to me. If it isn't, fake news. How do you feel about that? Do you think the Switch is going to surpass the PS2?
Cool. I mean, it's going to be close. It's going to be fucking close. I just...
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, how far behind were they? Sorry, I think I missed that.
They're
bit.
14 million behind.
Only 14.
They can do it.
Yeah.
Come on.
But honestly, I think everybody who's bought a Switch at this point has bought a Switch. They're like, the only thing that they're making sales off right now is either special Switches or people replacing their Switch.
Well,
True enough.
Here's the other thing is that as time goes on, there are children that are continuing to come of age for a gaming console. Your kid turns 6 or 7 or 8 and you want to get them into video games. What do? You get them a Switch, and the price is going to come down. And I think the Switch, when you're between generations, you're still going to sell some of your old, previous generations stuff. Just because they're announcing the Switch 2 and they'll eventually come out with one doesn't mean that there's not going to be Switches and Switch Lites available. So it's going to go for a while.
Yeah, but you also have to remember that the market's about to be flooded with used Switches.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, that's true too. But
Yeah,
not everyone cares to get a used one. And I don't know, are there really reliable ways to get used Switches anymore? I mean, aside from, everyone knows how GameStop is doing. Otherwise, you're going to kind of your mom and pop shops, retro shops, whatever. And, I think people want that sort of guarantee sometimes when they're getting something for their child.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
if I was going to get one.
We've got sort of fairly reliable sort of second-hand stores, like chains over here, which offer. I think it's something stupid like, I can't remember if it's 5 or 10 years, something stupid guarantee on all of their secondhand stuff. So I could see that being as well. They've got to be competitive, haven't they? While I do agree that they'll continue to sell Switches, I mean, there's no smoke without fire, and I think like we are seeing a Switch 2 announcement imminently, and it's no secret that they've held off this long. A, because the Switch is selling, and why would you eat into your own sales when you don't have to?
Right.
And B, the second that they do announce it, obviously that's just it's just gonna slow that down a bit. Maybe not all the way, but there's gonna be a significant sort of slowing down of Switch sales, and it might still be enough to just cross the finish line. I mean, 14 million is not that many, really.
No,
So
not in the global sales market.
I mean, as long as they
It's like
keep the thing on the market, I think there's every chance that they could. I think there's every chance, and personally, I think they probably will, because at this point, I mean, they're going to throw everything at the wall to try and get this record.
You know what's the most impressive thing about the Switch right now is the PlayStation 2 sold because it was a cheap DVD player. People bought it without even knowing what a PlayStation 2 was, simply because DVD players were twice the price at the time. The Switch is selling almost as much as the PlayStation 2 without that hook, that thing that drives people towards the PS2 for the Switch. And you know the multi-console families, like we have 3 in our house. We have one for each of us.
Yep.
You know, we're part of the problem. Like that .04 is probably just my household.
I think I've personally bought probably 5 Switches, which is ridiculous because I mean I've got you know,
they're going to get that. They're going to get that record because of you personally, Sam.
For me personally, yes. Switch lights for the kids. You know, like I got my own original one, and then I got the Zelda edition Switch Lite because I couldn't resist it because I'm a shill for that kind of shit.
Weak, yeah. You're weak.
But I use it because it's like I had to replace one because it was, you know, like the battery was bad, and then I sent it in and got it fixed, so I had a spare one. It's like, you know, whatever.
But how many of those did you buy used?
None.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you're a shill for Nintendo.
Right. Well, also here's the thing is like sometimes the resale value is high enough that, you know, like I'll just get a new one so that I don't have one that's got any problems with it, and it's covered under Nintendo's, you know, warranty plan or whatever. You know, it's like there comes a point where your resale value is so high that sometimes, depending on what the product is, it makes sense to just get a new one. Unfortunately, and it adds to e-waste and all that shit. But whatever. I mean, I'm gonna hang on to these, so whatever.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the second story, we have Microsoft says being an Xbox gamer means you play your games on everything, or else. So Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella has highlighted the company's vision of Xbox as a platform accessible across multiple devices, not limited to traditional consoles. Speaking at Microsoft's annual shareholders meeting, Nadella emphasizes the goal of enabling players to enjoy Xbox games on PC, smart TVs, streaming devices, and more. This strategy is exemplified by the This Is an Xbox campaign showcasing the ecosystem's inclusivity. Central to this approach is Xbox Game Pass, which now has 34 million subscribers and offers a vast game library to engage players across platforms. Additionally, Microsoft has expanded its reach by bringing first-party titles like Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush to competing platforms such as PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. Nadella also underscored the importance of integrating advanced technologies like AI and cloud computing to enhance the gaming experience. Microsoft focuses on accessibility, inclusivity, and expanding the Xbox ecosystem beyond hardware sales. Recently, it was announced that LG TVs will have Game Pass integrated into them like Samsung has had for a while now. I guess the question on this one is, do you think you need a console anymore if you're an Xbox fan?
No.
Barely, probably
I mean,
not.
hardly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, the Google Stadia is pissed right now.
Oh yeah, they got to be flipping. I was like, that's our idea.
I mean, to be fair, like they were there first. But yeah, I mean, come on,
No,
I can get on board with this.
you know what
Like,
the problem with the Stadia was is that you pay for a subscription, then you pay for the game. It's not like Game Pass where they
Ugh.
plug on a bunch of Netflix like games. You're paying for the game to sit in their servers, and then with that ability to pluck it out from underneath you.
I'll be honest, I never even saw one. Like, I don't
Nobody
even know
did.
what the
The
Stadia
Stadia?
looks
Yeah,
like.
no.
Yeah.
It's a controller. That's all it is a controller. Then you download the app on a TV, or I think you get like a little stick or something.
Well, I have an
So
Amazon Fire
basically
Stick,
this.
and it's got Luna.
Yeah, that's Amazon's new gaming service.
Yeah, it's the same concept, I think, as Stadia too.
Yeah, I get a bunch of games off of Prime Gaming, and Luna's one of the platforms that it gives me the games on, and I have yet to play a game off it.
Yeah.
Just like absolutely no reason.
I don't know how to set it up.
Yeah, you download the app and then you do something.
I'm not going to do that.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think
No.
this story would have a lot of traction, but I did find it interesting because I honestly believe that Xbox is on the way out of the console market. I know they
Oh,
keep
yeah.
saying they're going to be another console, but I have a feeling it's going to be something that streams the games and not something that you get physical copies.
I think they're hedging their bets because obviously we're not really in a console war anymore. It's a one-sided race, and they're branching out to experiment with these different styles of gaming, which is fine. That's what has to happen to keep things fresh. I mean, Nintendo have their niche. This could be Xbox's niche. I mean, it's not for me. I'm an old man. I'm a console gamer. The idea of like streaming off of a TV or a stick or a fridge or a toaster or whatever, it just scares and confuses me. But like I'm all for experimentation in gaming, and maybe this will work. I have a feeling it will because it's Microsoft, and they're pretty responsible with throwing large amounts of money around and then doing something with the assets that they've gained. Good old British sarcasm, and
Rightio.
rightio. But yes, that's what I think in it.
Oh man! All right, let's move on to the third story because I don't think there's much for us to really beat on that one.
Yeah, that
Ooh.
Plus, there's another Xbox story to.
I actually have more to say about
kind
the
of-
next Xbox story as it relates to this
Yeah.
one, kind of.
Well, we have this one story, then the next Xbox
Yeah.
story kind of guides us into topic one. So let's do this one because I think you guys might actually have some commentary on this one. So its Sega trademark could be the sign of a classic series return. Sega recently filed trademarks in Japan for Echo and Echo the Dolphin, hinting at a potential revival of the classic franchise. Originally launched in 1992 on the Sega Genesis or Master Drive, Mega Drive in other places, the series last saw a reboot in 2000 with Defenders of the Future on Dreamcast. This aligns with Sega's recent push to revitalize legacy IPs like Streets of Rage and Jet Set Radio. More details remain unclear at this time. So my biggest question to you guys is, what games do you want to see come back or be revived by Sega?
Whoa, hold on now, because fuck yes. Like, Echo the Dolphin, bring it on. Listen, I am not even joking. I feel like I'm a lone voice shouting into the fucking void, but I declare here on RetroBytes episode 7 that I love Echo the Dolphin. It's a fucking great game, hard as balls, and so like well put together and relaxing, except when it's very, very stressful. And I still haven't beaten it, and I will. And I am all for this series coming back. Bring it the fuck on. That felt
This
good.
is It sounded like it
Didn't
did.
answer my question, but
Well,
No, yeah, I didn't want us to gloss over Echo, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Echo needs his flowers.
Echo's not one that I have a lot of experience with. I think I rented it a couple times when I was a kid, and it was again like I go back to famously this game like broke Remember the Game. But like, I had the same experience as Adam over there, where you just kind of like fucked around with it a little bit every now and then, and it was fun to just swim around as the dolphin, not really realizing that there's like a whole ass game under there. I thought it was just like, oh, it's fun to just kind of jump around as this dolphin in the opening section, which is, I mean, it's fun.
Yeah. You end up in space.
Which is where most dolphins end up.
No,
True enough.
no notes. I don't have a lot of experience with Echo, so we'll have to get to it someday, I think. But I'm all for it. I'd love to see, how well, I hate to. I don't want to say like, oh, a Genesis collection, because that exists already, but more collections. I think like the Sonic Origins collection was pretty cool. It'd be cool to see a Streets of Rage collection. Although that's also like I keep saying that and then thinking like, but that already exists, dummy. Look up shit. Sure.
All right.
I don't know.
I got this.
I don't know.
Gun to your head. Which Sega game or IP do you want to see a full, proper 2025 revitalization of? Gun to your head. First game that comes to your mind. Go.
Kid Chameleon.
I
We
don't
kind of
know.
talked
I'm
about
sort of.
that. It would be great.
I'm hesitant because we're answering questions from a Patreon topic that we're not supposed to be talking about just yet.
Are we?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh well, no, we're just talking about Sega.
just
in
Sega
particular.
alone, I would say Kid Chameleon, because that's probably not my answer for like everything.
Do you want to reserve your answer for the Patreon topic, Alan?
If we're talking
Really,
if we're talking just straight Sega,
only Sega.
Golden
Oh
Axe.
no, that doesn't butt up against it too much. You could pick something different for that too. They could be different things. If they're not different things, then
They will be different.
Then
things.
come
I
up-
think Golden Axe.
ooh,
Golden Axe. There you go. That's a good one.
yeah, there are some bad Golden Axe games, aren't there?
Yes, they're called all of them.
Whoa. Okay, I'm out.
Well, to each their own. To each their own. I do
Oh no,
like.
sorry. What's
I do like.
no,
riding
I'm
around
thinking
that little
Altered
thing.
Beast. Sorry,
Altered
I'm thinking
Beast.
Altered Beast. Oh god.
There are a
I'm
lot
still
of.
out.
There are a lot of recycled assets from Altered Beast and Golden Axe because they were both.
Maybe
Sega
that's
arcade
why I
games.
confused the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Like that little
All right,
weird
let's,
chicken thing, that two-legged weird chicken with a tail that you can ride in Golden Axe.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in. It's in
Oh
Altered
my god.
Beast.
How have I never noticed that?
Because
There's
you're a
other shit,
fake
too.
gamer.
There's
Fake
other
gamer.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Sam just blew my mind.
There's a lot of
All
similarities.
right, let's get into the fourth story here, which
Yes.
will lead us into topic number one. Fourth story says Xbox won't have exclusives anymore. Microsoft is reportedly shifting away from permanent Xbox exclusives, planning to release first-party games on multiple platforms, including PlayStation. Windows Central Jez Corden suggested that future Xbox titles may be timed exclusives at most, with many launching on rival consoles. This strategy is exemplified by the upcoming Fable game, which, due to its significant development costs, is expected to be released on PlayStation eventually. Microsoft CEO Phil Spencer has indicated that the company evaluates platform availability game by game to reach a broader audience. This approach aligns with Microsoft's recent actions, such as bringing titles like Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded to PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, signaling a move towards more inclusive gaming ecosystem. Reports suggest that the new Fable game might come to PlayStation 5, indicating a broader trend of Xbox moving away from permanent console exclusives. This shift reflects a broader industry trend towards platform inclusivity, aiming to make games accessible to a wider audience, regardless of their console of choice. So that's topic number one, is do you think gaming franchises should remain exclusive? And this question was posted by Blaine the Hoagie Man on our Patreon.
That's a good question. Thanks for the question, Blaine.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who wants to go first on this one? I think this one was the one I had the most thoughts on.
Well, go right ahead, Sam.
I just
Yes, please do.
it's funny when it's like, oh, from the Xbox perspective, where they're saying like, well, we won't have exclusives anymore. It's like, well, cool. Did you for a long time now? No.
Stab.
I look at, well, I'm not trying to take a dig at them, but like, I think exclusivity is kind of like a spectrum nowadays, like where on one end you have Nintendo, which is the ultra exclusive, where they have all kinds of Nintendo property. Like Nintendo is like, I don't know. Nintendo's like the Disney of video games, right? Like they have their shit, they make their own stuff. They don't buy up stuff like Disney has of late, but you know, it's like Mario, Mickey, you know, like that sort of analogy, I guess. So Nintendo being the ultimate exclusive, PlayStation I feel like is somewhere in the middle, and Xbox has really like kind of let it fall to the wayside. And then it almost seems like, oh fuck, we don't have any exclusives. We got to rush to get some out, and then kind of just fell on their ass with it, and or didn't produce any. So it's like, for a long time though, Xbox has always been, you know, kind of this bridge between console and PC gaming, right? With the, you know, obviously Microsoft owns it, so it's always had that kind of PC. I don't know. It's also fluid. It's weird. It's like, so this doesn't make any difference to me. You know, it's like, who cares? You haven't had them for a while. So I'm glad they're just kind of finally, you know, putting their flag in the sand and saying we won't have any anymore. Fine.
Yeah.
Alan,
I mean,
go ahead.
I think framing this sort of lack of exclusivity is it's kind of a bit like, I don't know, it's like they're looking, what was it they were saying, the platform inclusivity, aiming to make games accessible to a wider audience regardless of their chosen hardware. And it's just like, you're framing it like you're doing us a favor when in fact really you don't have a choice.
Yeah, it's like you just kind of failed into it.
Well, exactly. They're framing it like, well, we want to do this wonderful thing for players all across the world, and it's just like, well, no, it's just like you are losing so badly, and you have made some rather foolish monetary choices. And I'm not saying that, you know, they're hard up for money, but it's like, in order to recoup some of those losses, they kind of have to do this. So it's kind of a move out of necessity rather than desire, I think. I mean, personally, I don't really mind. You know, should games stay exclusive? Well, only if it's from a business perspective, because you don't really see PlayStation doing this because they know they don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't need to broaden the net to get in more revenue. And same for Nintendo. You know, they have undeniably the greatest lineup of IPs that only Nintendo have, and that is why they're in spitting distance of that record we were talking about earlier on. And so, like, it's kind of like, you know, oh, losing the fight and said, well, I did it on purpose because of this, and okay, I guess, but at the same time, it's just like, it's kind of the only option for you. So I'm quite, I did not know that Fable was going to come to PS5. That's news to me, and I'm very happy about that. But it's just like, well, now I've got that Xbox Series S sitting upstairs, and I'm just like, do I really need that anymore? Because I'm probably just going to wait for things to come to PlayStation instead.
That's true, but you're probably going to get it on Game Pass on the Xbox.
Yes, true enough. However, when it comes to physical versus digital, we all know what side of the fence I fall on.
Mm-hmm. Yes. No, that's the only thing that keeps me to Xbox is Game Pass and their games coming to Game Pass. If I had to buy their games, I would just get rid of my Xbox. There is not a whole lot of games on Xbox that I like. I do enjoy Game Pass because of how much they support indie games. And there's some old games on there that I really like to play. But when it comes to exclusivity, like, what is it? Starfield and Indiana Jones are the two notable ones that come to my mind that are still exclusive. I guess you have Halo as well, but honestly, I tried Indiana Jones. It's a beautiful game. Like, it is just absolutely gorgeous, and I can see it being fun and once I actually sit down to play it properly. But I'm not like super excited, and it's probably going to end up coming to PlayStation anyways with the way this sounds. And I think without exclusives, there's no reason to stick with multiple consoles.
Yeah.
As for PlayStation, I always find it funny too that whenever ever somebody brings up exclusives, nobody shits on Nintendo for the amount of exclusives they have, but people jump on PlayStation with the, oh yeah, they bought these studios just to keep the games to themselves. And that's what everybody does. Look at Microsoft buying up big studios like Bethesda and Activision Blizzard. And they were going to keep the games to themselves, but now they're not making the sales. So
yeah, I don't blame a business for doing business, because that's business.
But you said it best, Alan, when don't hand me a brick of shit there and paint it gold. It's you're doing it for your own selfish reasons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
just admit to it. Like, you're not making the money you want off the game. Call of Duty 6 has sold like gangbusters on the PlayStation. It's proven that they need to put these games on other consoles because some people just will absolutely refuse to put the money out for Xbox.
Yeah, and they still get a slice of that pie. So
yeah, exactly.
Win-win.
You know what's interesting though is like for PlayStation and Xbox, they are not also first party developers, whereas like Nintendo you could consider like a first party game developer, and they own the hardware that they put their games on. It's kind of like it's like an old school model that has kind of persisted to today. And luckily for the Switch, it's revitalized, but it wasn't really doing very well as of the Wii U. And I don't know. It's really weird. Like Sega is also, or was also, both a console manufacturer and a developer. Before obviously they got out of the console market, but Sega was the same way, and that model doesn't exist. I don't think you're gonna have like a new system come on the line. Like, I don't know, let's throw a company out there, and say like, oh, this is the new, I don't know, Samsung console, and Samsung has exclusives, and Samsung created all these characters that go along with it. Like, that just isn't going to happen anymore. So I think that's kind of the way.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you on the Samsung portion of that, but I disagree that PlayStation isn't a developer. They, we all know the PlayStation 1 was the fuck you to Nintendo for dropping them for Panasonic.
Right.
But they've always had first-party studios. They've always, made their own games. They just invested in small studios and built them up into Naughty Dog and built them up into,
but that's
shit. I can't think of another studio.
I know, but
games and stuff
that's
like
not
that.
what Nintendo did. Nintendo, when you fire up a Nintendo game, it says Nintendo of America, or like.
Yeah, it's because they don't let their studios that build their games. Like, how long did you need to, or how long was it before you knew Game Freak made Pokemon?
Well, immediately, because
It's always-
says it right there.
Does it? Because I
the
never
number
knew
of
that
times,
until
the number of
recently.
times I've seen that opening screen.
No, yeah,
Game
Game Freak
I just
is right on
heard the
opening
noise.
screen. Well, the only other. Okay, so it's like they have these relationships with studios, but when you fire up a Mario game or or Mario Kart or whatever, any Mario game is Nintendo all the way first party, and Zelda too, where you have this kind of like relationship with another studio a little bit is like Smash Brothers, and Kirby is whatever that studio is. Fuck, I can't think of it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to look it up. It's like a sleeping dog or whatever that is their logo. Fuck.
I'm
So
sure it's
people
HAL.
are probably screaming at it. HAL Laboratories.
Yeah.
And then Game Freak for Pokemon and stuff. Yeah, like Nintendo owns, the rights to it and is exclusive to them. But for the most part, like your Mario, your Zelda, anything strongly affiliated with those two franchises, they can farm it out to Ubisoft to make like Mario and Rabbids and stuff like that. But for the most part, like I think Nintendo is pretty unique in the fact that they own their own, their own property and develop games themselves for their own hardware.
No, they do own studios like Monolith Soft, which is your Xenoblades, and they made Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Did they really? That's why they're
well,
so
they
different.
support. Sorry, yeah, they develop. Sorry, it was development support for it. So they own studios. It's just they don't really advertise owning studios.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I think that's still a different model than what PlayStation is doing. Because I don't know.
I know this is without having like an absolute. Oh, there you go. I found a something online there. Yeah, they do have internal teams that make the your Zeldas and Super Mario's and stuff like that, but they also have Retro Studios, which makes Donkey Kong and Metroid, ND Cube, which makes Mario Party games, Next Level, which is your Luigi Mansion, Monolith Soft, which I already went over, HAL Laboratories, which is your Kirby and your Earthbound, Game Freak. They're considered second party because they're historical partners.
Mm-hmm.
Camelot, the company that made friggin' Shining Force.
Oh yeah, Camelot.
No, yeah. So they
Intelligent Designs.
Systems.
Yeah, Intelligent Systems. That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
Bandai Namco made Super Smash Brothers and Pokemon Snap.
Really, the most recent.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, I don't know. I don't know why. I guess maybe I'm not doing a good job of explaining. It just feels different than what PlayStation does. I'll know it when I see it.
It's all about the feelings, not the business. Yeah, it's all about how my jimmies all wriggle.
Yeah, I don't know. It just.
All right. So I guess I think I'm good with that topic. You guys ready to move on?
Yeah, I was just enjoying listening to two nerds fight on the internet.
Here's another thing though. PlayStation will, there'll be some time while it's exclusive to PlayStation, but like those games will eventually come out on Steam and PC and stuff. So you don't see.
Well, they are now.
Well, I think they always have. Like you'd be able to play. Like I remember like Final Fantasy games. Some of them being released for PC.
But that's SquareSoft.
Yeah, but they were exclusive to PlayStation at the time.
They were, but I mean, PlayStation doesn't own the rights to them. It's Square doing it. It's kind of like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. There was timed exclusive, but Square Enix still owns the rights to distribute it on PC.
Yeah. Well, then there's Horizon. I mean, Horizon's on Steam now. I think you can get it on Steam. It's like you'll never see Nintendo, letting go of a true first-party title. Like you're never going to see Mario Odyssey on Steam. Well, no, I don't want to never say never.
That'll concede you.
Yeah, that's kind of I think the gist of where I was going with that is like Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo hoards their games like the Dragon hoards the gold in the Hobbit movie. There, make a nerd reference for you.
Smog.
and a rare Tolkien reference as well. Not a Star War in sight.
No wars on the stars here. All right, topic number 2. All right, this one is just something I was having a conversation with one of the youngins in my program there. Does finishing a game mean your opinion on it is more valid than someone who has not completed the game?
No.
Yes.
Expand your yes or no on this.
Yes. Fuck you.
No.
Get good.
Next.
No.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No. Genuinely and emphatically, no. Because I don't think the entire review system would work if your opinion only mattered if you've actually beaten the game. Because I'm pretty sure most people who review games don't actually finish them. At least like professional reviewers.
Yeah, you get a review copy and you play through it and you get an idea of what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and you're looking for things like the graphics, the gameplay, the music, and what have you. You don't have to complete a game to get all of that information. That's it. I mean, it depends, because it depends on what your opinion is. Like, if you, I don't know, play 5 minutes of an RPG and just, start trashing it, then I'm not so sure. But if you play 5 minutes of an RPG and say, well, I didn't get on with this mechanic, I didn't quite like this, and that's why I stopped playing it, absolutely 100% valid.
Yeah.
I just think it depends on the reason. It depends on what the opinion is.
Yeah, and I
Certainly
suppose
if it's...
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I was just saying, so if it comes down to some of these idiots, for lack of a better word, that you sort of see writing off games before they've even played them, purely based on things like who the protagonist is. We've been over this before. Just like what story beats there are. Just it doesn't mesh with their rather narrow-minded views. You know, it's just like, well, then maybe your opinion doesn't matter. But I don't know. Kind of
Yeah,
going around in circles here.
I don't think you need to finish a game, especially if your opinion of that game is negative, right? Because if there's a game that either you just don't think clicks with you or whatever, there's always going to be someone to say like, "Oh, you just need to get good," or whatever. But you know, I don't need to finish. Let's put an example out there. I didn't need to finish Roger Rabbit to know that I didn't like that game. Because I didn't like the gameplay and I thought it was convoluted. I didn't need to like go through and like suffer through trying to finish that game, and not even that I would have been able to, you know, just to have an opinion on it. You can still have an opinion.
Absolutely. Well, Brian did earlier on when he was talking about Echoes of Wisdom. It's just like you did not finish the game, and you shared exactly why you didn't finish the game, and I completely like understand your point of view, like, and agree with it to an extent.
Way to take my point, my friggin'... That was my opening to my whole speech. Now I have to throw it out.
Well, say it again.
No, that was actually going to be my point. Is there's very often I won't finish a game because I'm not going to finish a game I don't like. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But I'm also not going to rip apart a game I don't like. Like, I am not a fan of the Halo series at all. I guess maybe I just got in on the time when everybody was good at the game and I wasn't. It just turned me off of it. But I really recognize the contributions that Halo has brought to gaming. It's really put it more in the mainstream. Same with Mario 64. Loved it when I was young. Can't play it anymore. It does not handle like I remember. I don't enjoy it. Finished it once in my life, but I'll never play that game again just because I don't enjoy it. So my big thing is, yeah, your opinion can mean something. Somebody who's completed the game has a more, like, I guess, complete, you know, perspective on the game. So if a mechanic changes halfway through the game and you've only played a quarter of it, I mean, that person who got further is going to have the opinion on that mechanic. But I also don't believe that just because I like a game or dislike a game and you are the opposite side of it, that we should end up fighting about it. Because, you know, both opinions can be valid.
100%.
Not everybody likes everything.
No, and like you said, why should you waste time playing something you don't enjoy? I mean, God, we've got literally hundreds of games available to us.
Now.
Thousands.
Jesus.
Millions.
Like my collection alone is about 3,000 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. That's disgusting. I mean, I love it, but fuck. But it's just like, why would you waste time? Like, if you're really not enjoying something, then you have an opinion on it, and that opinion is valid. You've tried it, you didn't like it. Not for you. Move on. Try something else. Not every. Yeah. That's why there are so many different genres of games, because not everything is for everyone.
Yep.
And that's my biggest problem is a lot of time you're talking to somebody about something you're passionate about and they come around and they've like, you know, they looked at the title screen there and it's like, no, that game sucks. I don't even know why you like it. And it's like, well,
let me tell you why.
That's not the thing you're supposed to say. You can say, I don't like the game because the title screen just didn't captivate me right away. I don't care. But don't shit on me because I like something.
Yeah.
Shit on me because I pay you for it.
Yeah, exactly, hooker. I remember an example. Well, okay, I'm just going to finish thought real quick. Go. Yeah, but I remember an example of not too long ago. I was in a Discord and Sea of Stars had just come out, and somebody just like everybody's like, "This game is fun. It's great. I can see where." The Chrono Trigger references are. Oh, I see these other retro RPG references, kind of homages in it. And this one guy jumped in and goes, I played 30 minutes of the game, and it sucked. I don't know why you all like it. And I was just like, dude, no.
Yeah, 30 minutes is not enough time.
I ended up writing basically a novel back to this person in a Discord about why, you can't just shit on something.
Yeah, I remember
just because
that.
You played 30 minutes.
I remember that. And I mean, that 30 minutes is enough time for you to form an opinion as to whether or not the game is for you. And if it's not for me, move on. Don't shit on everyone else's fun. Although, all this being said, Brian, you are completely wrong for not liking Castlevania, and I'll never forgive you. Your opinion is trash.
I think mine...
that is true. That's almost as Trash. Why are you yelling at me? No, Castlevania or even Metroids, and then I guess a lot of Metroidvanias.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They don't make me happy. Let's just put it that way.
It's not Brian's cup of tea.
Exactly.
Just like, well, I mean,
Exactly.
my best example is BioShock. I mean, I didn't like that game very much, and it was not. I fully acknowledge that it was probably a me problem and not the game's problem, but I just did not enjoy it. So I think, and I didn't finish it. So I think I played enough of it that I got maybe halfway through and just decided to call it because I wasn't enjoying myself. But I recognize that it is a good game and the story was neat, but not for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, I agree with that. I actually didn't like BioShock for the longest time. Only got up to a certain point, and then one time I decided to play it through and through, and once the story captivated me, that was it. I played it like 3 times before I actually ended up liking it. Now it's one of my favorite games.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
I guess
it.
I got two more attempts to go before I like it.
Exactly.
And don't give up on it, Sam. Don't give up.
I mean,
on
I
it.
fully acknowledge that I may try it again at some point in the future. It's just not now.
And that's another important thing to recognize is that opinions can change, and a lot of
Absolutely.
people forget that and are so stalwart in their defense of their opinion that they ruin a potential good time down the line. Like I said,
Right.
okay, it's not for you. Maybe it's the wrong time and place. Maybe you'll try it again in the future and it'll click with you. Like, who knows? So, everyone is valid. All opinions matter, and except for Brian.
Right.
Yeah. I'm getting poo-pooed on. I don't like it. Do you guys have anything left to say on this, or do you want to spin the wheel?
Spin that
Spin
wheel.
it.
All right, I got the wheel open here. I'll make the billy sound here in a second. You ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
Yay!
All the ladies listening just got real excited.
Oh, yeah.
Not just the ladies.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
All right, fellas, here's your question. This topic is your epic wins and crushing defeats in video games.
Ooh.
Now there is no question in that. We can interpret it the way we want. But has there ever been a situation where you have been destroyed so hard in a video game that you had to turn it off and walk away from it for a period of time?
Yes.
Oh, God. All the time. Jesus.
I'm talking about one that was so memorable that it haunts you today when you look at the game because it's something you remember.
Oh, I don't know about that. I guess I'd have to think of an example.
I got one off. So I can start this off here because I actually have one. It was Counter-Strike on the Xbox. Xbox 360. I remember playing that game, and I've said it before, this is the game that turned me off of playing online games, or games online, sorry. And I was crossing a bridge, and I had recently come off another game where the trigger button in that game was the crouch button in this game, and I hit that, sorry, not the trigger button, the scope button, and I hit that button, I crouched, and I stopped my whole team, we got wiped out, and they made very rude and oddly racist comments, even though I'm white, and basically told me to kill myself and my whole family. So after that, I never played games online. It was such a crushing defeat. I to this day will never turn on Counter-Strike.
Interesting.
Neither would I. You
I've
got something, Sam?
I've got a couple. I'm currently trying to get back into Fallen Order a little bit if I can, because I stopped at a spot where there's a particularly tough boss, and I'm getting myself worked over because I've set the game down for so long that I've kind of forgotten the controls. And he's tough. He's tough when I knew the controls. So I think the first time I battled him like a few months ago, I got the furthest into his kind of life bar, and now I get worked over pretty quickly. But I think I've got another good example is from the Pokemon series. Misty's Starmie will absolutely fuck you over if you're not ready for it.
True.
In Gen 1, and then in Gen 2, do you remember that gym leader Whitney that had the mill tank?
A mill tank. Oh my god. That thing that uses rollout over
Yeah.
and over and over again and is literally built like a fucking brick shithouse.
Yeah.
Absolute monster.
Middle school me had quite a bit of difficulty with that one.
That thing had no business being that hard in a game made for fucking children.
Yeah, it's like a stupid looking cow, but like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, the defense on that thing is astronomical.
I know. Yeah,
Bullshit.
It's like the first time it uses rollout, it's like, well, it did some damage and no big deal. That just compounds on itself. That move is so overpowered.
Oh, I've got fucking PTSD and you
Yeah.
triggered it. So, I've gone a long time without thinking about that fucking cow.
Fucking mill tank.
This fucking guy. I don't know about gaming, like, what are we talking about? Total defeats. I suppose, I don't know. I mean, I've been completely beaten by the original Rayman. I just can't do it. I can't beat that fucking game. And I have tried. And it's impossible. Impossible. So that's one outside of like actual gaming though. I mean, I think breaking my childhood Master System probably ranks.
Oof.
It's fighting with my younger brother, and we pulled it off the TV stand and completely fucked it, and that was heartbreaking.
Well, that's your problem. Don't fuck the video game systems.
Well, you know, I mean, I would like to point out that
that's not what they mean when they say blow into it.
I would like to point out that in this story, I'm probably about 4.
Okay.
Well, now you just made it weird.
You guys made it weird. I suppose the time that my Sega Mega. Why is it always with Sega consoles? Somebody's trying to fuck with me. I swear it. It's my Mega Drive, complete with Mega CD and 32X, the ultimate tower of power. The day that we got broken into and that whole thing got stolen.
No.
Just when the night before I'd finally made it to the final boss of Sonic 3D. Not CD, mind you, 3D. You know, the
3D Blast?
the fairly interesting isometric one.
Yeah.
Flicky's Island.
I'm surprised they didn't take your console and leave that one.
Just leave that game.
Leave the game. Like, they pulled the game out and just left it on the counter.
Like,
they stole my console, but they left 3 copies of the game.
It's not that bad. I just don't like isometric. Yeah.
They can't, because they haven't played the game, so they can't have an opinion on it, Sam.
I have, and I do. Actually, no, they did steal it. They just dropped it back in your mailbox after a bit.
Yeah, I did wonder what that, like, cartridge full of shit was.
Gross.
Yeah.
Any epic wins? Any times where, I don't know, something that sticks with you where you finished a game or you did something in a video game that you didn't think you'd be able to do and you're proud of it? You guys are self-defeating.
I gotta think of another one. Yeah,
I've got a couple. Obviously, just recently, I was pretty happy with beating Earthworm Jim.
Yeah,
that felt good. What else did I beat that I was very, very happy about? Not fucking Rayman, that's for sure. I don't know if I've told this story before. I probably have, but one of my very few forays into online gaming with Mass Effect 3, squad-based online, where we're all against like waves of enemies and what have you, and basically, what would you say? The bottom of the 9th, and everyone else is down. There you go. Yep. Everyone is down. Everyone is out, and there is just me surrounded by collectors or husks. I can't remember which, and I'm literally camped down behind this chest high wall, because it's always chest high walls, and the enemies are closing in. The timer is counting down. All I have got to do is make it to the LZ, and we've won the round. And I go on this run across the screen with maybe 5 seconds left on the clock and dive into that zone literally at 0 seconds. The crowd went wild. I kid you not. Like, I wasn't using the microphone because, I didn't feel comfortable talking to people online at that point, but I could hear them in my head. I could hear them in my headset, and it was literally like I'd scored the game-winning. Well, I did score the game-winning touchdown.
You made the 3-point shot in the friggin' Super Bowl, buddy. You got the Stanley Cup above your head. It was great.
It was magnificent, magnificent, and that's my greatest win in online gaming, at least.
Wow, well, that really puts my my only story to shame. I mean. Well, right, I guess I'll say it anyways. I was 12. My brother introduced me to Final Fantasy. This was Final Fantasy 4, or as we called it back then, Final Fantasy 2 for the Super Nintendo. And I, being young, I wasn't great at the game. I made it to the final boss, and he was just kicking my ass all over the place. I had my last character, Kane, with about 12 hit points left, lucky enough. I used my last move, which was to make him jump, which gives you kind of a turn or two where nobody can be hit because everybody else is dead and he's in the air. And he came down and he hit, I can't remember, Goblez? Who's the final boss in that game?
Gobez?
I can't remember. Anyways, he hit the final boss. He bounces back to his spot, and all of a sudden that telltale crackling
I love
you
that
beat
sound.
the boss.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Oh my god, like I couldn't believe I actually beat that game. I think it was like my 4th or 5th attempt at trying to beat him.
Wow.
And I think that is what kind of solidified my love of RPGs as well, because that feeling just didn't go away.
That endorphin rush must have been crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's my first ever erection in my memory. I was just like rock friggin' hard.
It hasn't gone down yet.
Nope. That's a problem.
You should seek a
doctor
if it's over 4 hours or whatever.
Concerned if your erection lasts,
if it's been more than 30
longer
years,
than Final Fantasy 4.
If it's been more than 30 years, please consult a doctor. All
right, so you guys final one for us?
I guess it's not as good as either of yours, but I do have a similar experience with actual Final Fantasy 3 when we played that a couple of years ago now, year and a half ago. There was definitely a tough boss where I just was like, fuck it, we're Dragoon jumping. I've got one guy left, everyone else is dead. Like jump. I love Dragoons.
Oh yeah.
I have 3 words to explain my greatest gaming victory, and those are faster than wildcard.
Booyah.
Let's move on.
Which is funny because coming from our good friend Joe, a.k.a. Wildcard Fettuccini, he's Italian. I don't know his actual last name, and I wouldn't dox him on this anyways. So he's just Joe Fettuccini from now on. No, he's in the Patreon topic. Sorry, I can't give that away. Fuck. Man, if you want to hear our comments about Joe Fettuccini, you got to join the Patreon, which you can for free. But before that, let's get to the hook of the episode. So, what is your gaming goals for 2025? Do you have any mountains you want to climb, white whales you want to complete, or any golden idols you need to add to your collection this year?
So many.
Yes, and yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, gaming goals, I tell you what, 64.
64, you're gonna do a full Nintendo?
Well,
very nice.
63 games this year, 64 this year.
There were 64 last year.
Yeah. I'll complete 2 more games. Yeah, I mean, beat more games. I really kind of want that Sega Saturn for my collection as well. Kind of feel like that needs to happen. And if it's an individual game, wouldn't hate a copy of Castlevania 3 on the NES.
Ooh.
It's not
Very
cheap
nice.
though. It's probably the
never is.
It's probably the biggest They're the most expensive game on my list at the moment, and it will be the last Castlevania game that I beat. I am saving that one for last. I'm going to beat every single other Castlevania games because, frankly, Castlevania 3 scares me.
It's funny. I can always tell the price of something by my wife's reaction to it. The more interested she's into it, the more expensive it is. I don't even have to look at the price if she's like super excited. It's like, oh, I really like that. That'd be great for the house. I'm like, no, it's too much. We'll go look at the price tag, and yeah, sure as shit, it'll be over $1,000. And then she'll be like, oh, we could probably use that in like the dining room, I guess. And it's like $10. I was like, yeah, no, that checks. So when you said Castlevania is expensive, I was just like, I can tell how expensive it is just by your initial reaction.
Yeah. One day, though. One day. Maybe this year. Who knows?
It will be
maybe before you're dead.
Oh, yes.
We
Sam,
shall see.
What about you? Do you got any goals for the 2025 year?
I do. I don't know when I'm going to start another run at this, but I would love to finally finish Final Fantasy VIII and roll credits. That has been a game that has been in my collection since I was about 11 years old, and I need to finish that. 11 or 12. But, yeah.
I got a good tip to help you. Don't.
What? I fucking love Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah, I do like it. It's just
my problem with Final Fantasy
VIII
is the beginning. The beginning of the game is such a slog to get to anything actually interesting.
Yeah, where it's like we are literally basing this game in a school because you need to go to school and get a degree in order to figure out how to fucking play this game.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Now go play some cards.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Any golden idols you're going to search for this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully closing the deal pretty soon on a copy of Pokemon Crystal, which I will be
closing
very happy.
the deal.
Be
Negotiations are ongoing.
No, they're not. But hopefully that pans out because that would be really cool to add to the collection of mine. And that is a game that if you see it in the wild at a retro shop, it's not going to be cheap.
No, I've had my eye on one of those for ages.
And the thing is, I had a copy of Crystal and I lost it. So, so I always kick myself for that one. So, like, I think just generally, like, regaining titles that I've lost over the course of my life. I would like to add a few Sega games that I had. Kid Chameleon would be a cool one to find if I could. I think I would spring for it in box if I had the money. I think that would be really cool. And then the last one, like the quote unquote white whale, like if I had extra money sitting around and, some fuck you money, I think I would get a copy of either Heart Gold or Soul Silver on the 3DS, because those in-box copies are very expensive, but I would really like one.
No joke.
Yeah.
I think those are at least £100 over here, at least.
Yeah, I've seen them for they're like $300, $350 over here.
Jesus.
So I don't know if it'll happen, but it's a maybe. I do enjoy.
It's fun to dream.
I do enjoy collecting, and I do enjoy my Pokemon. So.
Oh boy, Brian.
Yeah. Oh man. I don't think I have any mountains I really want to climb this year because I'm really focused on my studies, but I'm trying to play more of the old games I've had sitting on the shelf for a very long time. And like Radiata Stories was a quick play, but it kind of enticed me, that and Xenogears, to go back to my old RPGs and just pick one and play through it. Yeah, I'm going to try to get to some of them I kind of started but gave up on and just left in my collection for years. Like I have one called Magna Carta.
Ooh.
It's supposed to be really good.
Is that a strategy game?
I think I've played. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've played it. But I've had it in my collection for since it was released, and I've played through it for maybe a few hours. So I'm gonna start doing that. That's my goal for this year. White Whales recently got a PS3 and a Wii. My brother lent me the Wii, but it has a lot of good games on it, so there's not really a lot on that I want. But the PS3, I'm starting to find games I forgot about. I just got Eternal Sonata for it.
Oh, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, really good role-playing game based around Mozart. And when I was in my trip in Edmonton last summer, I got 3D Dot Heroes, 3D Dot Game Heroes.
Oh,
Can't remember
yeah,
the full
yeah, yeah. I
title.
remember you talking about that.
Yeah, so I want to get into starting that. And the more I go to the retro game shop just down the road from me, the more PS3 games I see that I kind of forgot about. I really wish I kept my collection. The only game I did keep from the PS3 was Metal Gear Solid 4, the collector's edition, because I was going to get rid of a collector's edition. So I got that still, so I might play Metal Gear Solid 4 this year as well.
Fucking good choice.
I have absolutely no golden idols that I'm looking for this year, so it's going to be a good 2025 for me. I know that I'm going to have plenty of time in the summer to sit down, open the window, listen to traffic, and play some video games.
There we go.
And
Beauty.
with all the access to games I have nowadays, I just got to start organizing myself.
Yeah, I hear that.
That's the big one. I have piles of games. Like my brother is organized. He's like, I'm not starting another game till I'm done this one. I wish I had that fucking discipline.
No,
I'm just like, ooh, shiny thing.
Discipline.
Ooh, shiny thing.
Well, basically, what I've decided to do, and is it basically just continue what I have been doing, but it's if I'm not playing a game for the show, and it's not something that's just come out that I really want to play, I'm literally just going to pick the next game on the list alphabetically, whatever system it might be on, and just play that.
That's smart.
Just to work through the backlog.
Yeah, right now I've got 2 games going on for the show. A third one completed for the show, and I haven't started an actual new game since Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And I only played that for about maybe 6 hours. So...
Well, then you don't get to have an opinion on it.
No.
My opinion is shut up, Sam.
I'm kidding. Yeah, I guess my only other one, I just kind of thought of one last minute, was, just chipping away at the now backlog I have of new games that came out in 2024 or 2023 that I'd like to have one on the go all the time, I think, just to kind of clear that. Like Echoes of Wisdom is one of them. Unicorn Overlord is one that I started and enjoyed. It kind of fell by the wayside, and then I want to play that Dragon Quest III remake real bad.
Yeah, I gotta start that. That's going to be my next new game I play.
Nice. Oh, and I've just remembered I'm closing in on 1,000 games in the collection, so maybe I'll get there this year.
That'd be cool.
See, when I say I have 3,000 in my collection, that's digital plus
you can't
ROMs
count
plus
those
physical.
Actually, yeah, no.
Can I play them? Yes.
Yeah.
Therefore, they count.
They are valid.
All right, so that is everything for the main show of Retro Bytes. Thank you for listening. If you're a Patreon, stick around. We have one more topic from Joe Fettuccini. And if you're not a Patreon, you should join us at www.patreon.com/Retrotopia, where you can join for free. And there you can take part in the shows, comment to the host of the show, comment on the game of the week, listen to Quick Play, listen to this show 15 days early and with an extra topic. For the people listening at the end of the month, I'm just going to say goodbye to Sam and Alan, even though they're not really leaving right now. But thanks for listening, thanks for supporting us, and we will see you on the next episode of Retrotopia.